This changes everything for the Pittsburgh Steelers as they look for their wide receiver number 2 in the draft. My name is Peyton Kleppe, and today is today's episode of Steelers Digest. Real quick, if you guys have not subscribed already, click that subscribe button down below. Currently, only 9% of our viewers are actually currently subscribed. So just click that subscribe button, and we're going to get you guys the latest Steelers news daily regarding trades, regarding the draft, regarding head coaching, regarding GM, owner, anything regarding the Pittsburgh Steelers that is worth talking about. We will get it to you daily. Let's get right into the news. We got a lot of big names to talk about around the wide receiver 2 position in Pittsburgh. Let's get right into the news. So, a guy who has been linked to the Pittsburgh Steelers recently around the draft, around the combine, has been Emeka Egbuka out of Ohio State. This guy is a great wide receiver. He's only shot up the draft boards as the draft and the combine has unfolded. And unfortunately, we did not capitalize on the Deebo Samuel trade. The Commanders went in and they swooped him up right out from under our feet. They sent over a 5th-round pick for Deebo. But hey, this might have been a blessing in disguise. You know, Deebo's definitely dealt with his fair share of injuries in the past. He's dealt with his personality issues, roughhousing the kicker last year. We wouldn't want him doing that to Boswell. So he's also 29, and, his future, his contract, it's still up in the air. So getting a young guy like Egbuka would be great for us. This guy really reminds me of Amon-Ra St. Brown. He's a great route runner. He's a big guy. He's a great blocker. He could really fill that number 2 receiver role alongside George Pickens. This has been a role that, what we've talked about in the past couple of videos has been, it's been a lot of different names that have been thrust into that role and possibly could come in. But if this guy's here in the first round, around pick 20, and we're there, I see us taking him. No hesitation, because this guy is a dog. Last year he had 81 catches, a little over 1,000 yards in his senior season at Ohio State. And if you guys don't know, Ohio State is notorious for developing wide receivers. Just to name a few guys, Terry McLaurin, Michael Thomas, the list goes on and on. There's so many great Ohio State wide receivers that are currently in the league and who have been in the league in the past. Chris Olave, there's a ton of great guys. So Ohio State just seems to generate wide receiver after wide receiver. And us as the Pittsburgh Steelers, we love capitalizing on that wide receiver position in the draft. In the past, we've gotten studs. We've gotten AB in the 6th round. We got Santonio Holmes in the 1st. We got Mike Wallace in the 3rd. We got Emmanuel Sanders later on in the draft. Chase Claypool, I guess you could throw him in there. Deontay Johnson, George Pickens. The list goes on and on. The Steelers have been great at drafting wide receivers. I'd love to bring this guy in. At the draft, he actually did not run or participate whatsoever. But at the Ohio State Pro Day and as the combine starts to unfold, we could see this guy participate a little more. I mean, in college, he definitely showed us and showed everybody what he could do. There's really not a lot of questions surrounding this guy. He's a big receiver, Off of fansided.com, they reported that his well-rounded game is a perfect complement to George Pickens. Egbuka can blossom into a route technician who keeps the chains moving with his intermediate routes. Pickens can remain the big play threat who creates more room for his teammates with his ability to run vertical routes and make contested catches. So, Egbuka could really fill in on that wide receiver 2 role, and he's going to be like an upgrade Deontay Johnson. Deontay Johnson was our route runner guy. He was the guy that gets in and out of the breaks. He's a quick guy, and he was great in the route running. But Egbuka is more than that. He's a great route runner, but he's also a great blocker. He's a big guy. He can complement Pickens, getting those 2 6-foot-plus wide receivers in there. You can't complain about that. So, Fansided also said another underrated aspect of Egbuka's game is his willingness to be a blocker on the outside. That kind of toughness should resonate with Mike Tomlin and the coaching staff. Their dedication to running the football can only be helped by adding a quality blocker like Egbuka at the receiver spot. Mike Tomlin loves bringing in those big guys. Like Coach Prime said, we're going to get them big guys. And Coach T loves bringing them in. As you guys saw, we brought in Parham Jr. earlier on this offseason, a huge tight end to complement Darnell Mount Washington at the tight end position, and Freiermuth and Hayward. And, bringing in these big guys is only going to help us run this rock, and get us back to that Steeler football that we've all been dreaming of since probably last time we've been there was probably around 2008 when we won that Super Bowl. But anyways, once we bring in these blockers and guys who are willing and wanting to block, it's really going to develop our whole offense because, in the past, guys like Deontay Johnson, guys like Chase Claypool, if you look at their game tape, they were really unwilling to block. They just wanted to get the ball, and, they were very, very lazy around their blocks. And when one guy does that, it really ruins the whole team. It can affect the whole culture. So bringing in a guy who's willing to block and but also willing to go up and get that rock is something that you can't complain about. But Fansided did say that Steelers might opt to roll the dice with the player with more upside at number 21, but Egbuka's high floor makes him a valuable pick for a team that looks to minimize risk. They can slot him in as immediate starter if they come out of round 1 with his services. So, honestly, I feel like this all comes down to who's available at pick number 21 for the Pittsburgh Steelers. If this guy goes early and some cards fall, I could see the Pittsburgh Steelers going O-line or D-line. That's another big need that we need to fill in alongside Keanu Benton and Cam Hayward. And we also need some new O-linemen. We're losing some guys in free agency like James Daniels, Dan Moore. So, if Egbuka's not there at 21, I could see us just going for O-line, D-line, just keep stacking up those guys because, as you guys know, it all starts up front, and if you don't have an O-line or D-line, you're not going to win the football game. I mean, look at the Eagles in the Super Bowl. They dominated the line of scrimmage on both sides, and they won that football game in stunning and dominating fashion. So if we want to be like the Philadelphia Eagles and we want to hoist that 7th Lombardi, bring in Egbuka, get us another blocking wide receiver and get us to that promised land, And also, coming out of Ohio State, like Fansided said, there's not a lot of risk for this guy. Every other Ohio State wide receiver that has come in the league, I mean, Mike Thomas was kind of a freak instance. He dealt with a lot of injuries. But other than that, these guys from Ohio State have been studs. Scary Terry and over in the Commanders or the Redskins, whatever you want to call him. He's been Mr. Consistency over there with the carousel quarterbacks, and he's finally got his guy in Jaden Daniels. And if we can get our quarterback position down, hopefully we're going to bring in Fields and maybe we'll bring in Ewers in the draft. Who knows? But if we get that connection between Egbuka and Fields, that 2-2 connection, also two Pickens on the other side, it's going to be a great time in Pittsburgh, and we're going to be stacking up some points, stacking up some wins, and hopefully hoisting up that 7th Lombardi trophy. That is all I got for you guys today. Like I said earlier, if you guys have not already, click that subscribe button down below. And peace out, boys. Let's get that 7th Lombardi trophy. Deuces. Peace out.